What it is, Desires Energy family. It's been a long time since we've done a podcast. I have a heavy hitter right here, your boy Mike.
What's up, Mark?
Owner of The Closet. It's greatness all around us. We just had a celebrity came through earlier, just left. Mike, man, how did you get started?
I was selling cars, selling motorcycles. Always been in sales, 20 plus years. So 2016 rolls around.
Wait, 20, how old are you, brother?
I'll be 39 in a week and a half.
I told him he looked like he about 29. Like
Shout out to mom and dad on the jeans. But yeah, I was selling cars at the time. I don't like waking up early. So that's really how this business started. I wanted to, people think like, oh, you want to make the money, you want to, I wanted to do all that, but I really just didn't want to wake up early anymore.
Same way.
So I used to have a music studio in from 2011 to 2013. So in 2016, I'm like, yo, I want to get back in the industry, but everybody can buy a mic, computer, it wasn't like how it used to be. Plus I ain't staying up till 5 in the morning recording people anymore. So I was like, who's doing fashion? So I look at Drake, I look at Justin Bieber, and I start seeing this brand called Supreme. Now I've already heard about Supreme for the longest. When I was in high school, Supreme was around, right? Yeah. But I wasn't a skateboarder. So to me, I didn't really ever appreciate like Supreme. Right. I didn't really appreciate it because I wasn't like a skateboarder. So, but I started looking in the business side of it. And I'm like, okay. So every Thursday at 10 a.m., because that's when Supreme's in season, every Thursday at 10 a.m., they did the drop. When the drop happened, some stuff would sell out in 10 seconds. So I look and I go, okay, so this shirt that went for $44, people are reselling this shirt for $125? I'm like, that's a business. So yeah. So I started doing my due diligence, and I honed in on 6 brands that I felt were popping. Babe, Supreme, Palace. Palace was like the UK version of Supreme, and V-Lone. V-Lone at the time was super popping, and I was like, you know what? I had like maybe a few bands to my name, and bro, a lot of people don't know this. I'm in this beautiful shop now, but I wasn't into shoes. I literally started my business just in clothing. So you
started in clothing.
That's it, clothing only. I was the guy that was known to have the rare Supreme stuff. So I honed in on these 6 brands, and I started it out of my condo. And
how many years ago was this?
2016.
Okay,
so 7 years. Okay. Yeah, 7 years. So I got my first storefront east downtown. Had some business partners steal from me. Got out of that situation. I go to West Oaks Mall, 2018. Had my business partners, the new ones, steal from me. Got out of that place.
Hey, wait. So let's pause on this. So this is a lesson right here. So
yes.
Okay, first time you got stolen from, that was a lesson. So what happened? Like the second time, how did that happen again?
Man, it's crazy. So you think I learned my lesson the first time, right?
Yeah.
So I get into this situation at West Oaks Mall. The way the store was situated was I was still just a clothing guy, but I needed somebody that sold shoes. But instead of me just going and buying the shoes and doing it myself like I do now, I had another business, which they actually still have a store out here. They're doing. We won't even talk about them. But long story short, we were doing this together, and I guess they talked to the guy that I was supposed to be a business partner with, and they felt that they could just do it. I guess what's up, my buddy, doing all right? They could do it without me. So the way they positioned it was they kind of like locked me out of the spot, and then by the time I was able to get back in the spot.
They locked you out of the store.
The store, yep. So by the time I go back to the store, there's already items missing. I'm looking on Instagram. I'm seeing my merch being sold, being put into bags. So yeah, I was really upset, and it's funny because like when I look back in hindsight, it's like those people made a bad decision. I mean, if they had stayed and we'd been doing this together, they would be up here with me right now. No. They would be in a situation where they're part of a business that's done 10 million in sales. Now they're in an old smoke shop and can barely scoot by, and they maybe have 50, 60, 70 pairs, but the thing is, I don't look back with like again, because we also want. In the way I look at it, Mark, is like back in the day, when we take an L, we would take a loss. Yeah. But like you said, I don't look at L's as losses anymore. I look at L's as lessons. And now where I'm at, even on the maturity side and being older, like I don't look back at them and like super upset. Now when I see them at shoe events, it's funny because when I see them, it's like they'll look the other way. You know, they still got my page blocked on Instagram. I know it makes them sick. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's all about timing. You know, and you know you got God in your heart. You know how it goes. It's not what we want in our time.
When we want it, it's not when God wants it.
It's His time, and you know, at that time, I guess it wasn't meant to be for a variety of reasons. You know, and I had to learn what I had to learn so that way I could elevate and really take this to the next level, because I knew where this was going, right? But you can't do things by yourself. You have to have a team around you. So the one thing that I was vying for the whole time was just to have a good team behind me. So it wasn't me like, oh, I got to have a business partner. I got to have, you know, no, it was just I wanted to have a team. And it was just like, and every time something happened, I would be like, why can't I have a team? You know, I would
that you can trust.
Exactly.
You can rely on.
Exactly.
I'm speaking through the camera on purpose.
Right.
People you can trust that's consistent and reliable.
And it's true, because I'll be honest, man. Like, people may see me as the face and the voice behind the closet, but even you know.
Oh, there's a lot that goes on.
The actual backbone of this shop isn't me, it's my team.
Right.
You know, and I wouldn't be able to do this without that. So yeah, you know, how everything came together was really crazy. I'm still grateful for the things that I did learn, and it was crazy, bro. In the first situation when the guy stole from me, a year ago, he was gunned down. And a lot of people would be like, yeah, man, that's your op, you know, screw him. But to me, I'm still sad over that situation, because even though he did what he did to me, he left behind a family. He left behind a daughter. You know, he left behind people that care about him. And even though he did me wrong, you know, like at the end of the day, I still have a heart and I feel for him. But you know, he was going down that lane, and yeah, you know, karma's crazy. You know.
What you talking about? I even thought of a better way to look at it, because lessons, that's the cliche way to look at it. But
right.
I even think about it even like on a more competitive level. To me, it's a test. A test to see whether you're going to give up or not.
Right.
Because whenever you have problems, everybody going to have problems at some point. So
right.
when you're having issues, every obstacle that comes against you, whether it's your team, people backstabbing you, getting robbed, whatever it is, to me, I look at it now, it's like, okay, this is just a test to see if I'm really about what I say I'm about. Am I going to call it quits, tuck my tail, and walk off? Or am I going to keep making moves, save up till I can get back in the game, keep trying until 10, 15 years later? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna lie, Mark. 2018, when the situation at West Oaks Mall happened, when I went back to my house, and shout out to Lunatic. Lunatic is an awesome artist from Houston, Texas. Was one of the only people that actually was hanging out with me every day while I was back at my condo. So whenever the West Oaks situation exploded, I basically didn't know what I was gonna do. I'm like, man, here we go again. I'm back to square one, and I'm grateful for this. And I know you probably have other questions, but we'll parlay it straight into this immediately. So in 2018, Drake drops a song called Mob Ties, right? Goes crazy off the Scorpion album. I always had a relationship with Jay Prince Jr. and rap a lot. And while I was at my house, all I had was time to think, right? So as I'm seeing the slogan Mob Ties, and a lot of people don't know what Mob Ties even means. Do you know what it means?
I got an idea, but
a lot of people think it's just like some stiff stuff. But what?
I'm thinking like towards the mafia.
Right. But what it actually means, it means movement of bosses together in elevated structure.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I thought about an organized, like some type of organized organization.
Right.
Of like bosses and whatever words you want to call them.
Right.
Owners, different things like that.
Well, and that's what it is, and we look out for each other. But at the time, I had to bring something to the table. So what I did was, because again, I had time to think about like what I wanted to do. I called Junior up and I go, this branding that you're doing with Mob Ties has a big appeal that I feel could break into streetwear. And he's like, well, what do you think we should do? And I was like, I think we should do a series of Mob Ties pop-up events with exclusive merch. We curate these special events, have celebrities come pull up. We shoot great content out of it. And Junior's like, let's do it. So we did the first one, 2018, very successful. Then a year passed, and I'm like, well, what are we gonna do now? So I call him again. I was like, this a year later. I'm like, it's been a year, bro. I'm like, we killed the last one, but let's keep this momentum going. So I was like, yo, I picked the last venue. You picked this venue. He goes, man, what about Johnny Dang's? And I'm like, first thing I said, he's gonna want too much money. because I'm just up and coming. I didn't really have a whole lot of bread. And Junior says, don't worry about that. And respectfully, when he tells you don't worry about it, I got to take him for what he's saying. So a few days later, calls me and says it's done. We're going to do the pop-up December at Johnny Dang's. So I said, incredible. So at the time, I was doing some business with my business partner, Ben Wong. And Ben was cool with the Texas Shoe Exchange. So again, because I'm still doing clothing, not doing shoes yet, I was like, man, I got to have the shoe guys, because I'm trying to put all these other people in the mix. They all burnt me. Well, third time's a charm. Hopefully this is gonna be good. So I talked to them. I said, hey, look, we're doing this big pop-up at Johnny Dang's. I want y'all to come out from Austin, bring a bunch of shoes. We're gonna curate another beautiful moment. And long story short, over 3,000 people come within about 6 hours. First 30 minutes, Johnny pulls me to the side and says, you should put your store upstairs. And
let me hold on, let me make sure the video.
Yeah. Good.
So there's a lot of details that, because right now I ask questions for entrepreneurs that's watching, right?
Right.
I know there's a lot of details that they're curious about. So I'm not even ask about how did you even meet Jay Prince Jr. and get involved with him, but you have a very strong power for marketing and, more importantly, networking. Because that's something that a lot of business owners, small businesses coming up, we kind of struggle with starting out.
Absolutely.
It's like no matter what talent or ability we have, we're either not comfortable or we're just not quite as efficient or good at networking and more importantly, building genuine relationships with people.
Absolutely.
So you seem like you have a great ability to do that, and it's genuine. It's not like I'm gonna
say you know me.
Yeah, so it's like you can't teach that genuine care for others.
Correct.
But from a perspective of like, let's just talk marketing.
Right.
How were you able to, obviously with the ties you had to Jay Prince and everyone else, how were you guys able to market in such a way to get 3,000 people to show up to anything?
It was a different era too, because at the time, again, with Drake putting out the big song, Rap-A-Lot had this allure where, they weren't very accessible. So I felt by us doing something like a pop-up, we could create accessibility and make it where it's not such a stiff, closed off movement that it's exactly like, no. Mob Ties is for the city. It was rooted in Houston. It's for the community, and we kind of just, with arms open, come see us. So I felt like that, along with the allure that it had at the time. Now, Mob Ties is still a strong movement. It's just even like now, Junior's in a different situation now than he used to be. Now he's with Finesse 2 times. He got the big deal with Atlantic Records, so he's really busy. So and the brand's kind of already did what it's done. It's still going to continue to be a big movement, but at the time, it was just a word, and then when it went from word to movement and people could watch it in real time, it created this massive allure, and people just wanted to see what it was about. And again, having a strong, marketing, background, even though I didn't finish college, I did go to school for business marketing, business management. Shout out UTSA, but I'll be honest, the how I learned most of my skills and how I honed my skills for marketing and talking and all that was just the jobs that I took. Again, I used to do door-to-door selling Green Mountain electricity. I worked in the mall kiosk selling cell phones. I didn't pay my dues, so a lot of people think that and I'll be honest, not only was this not an overnight success, even to get over to Johnny's, that took, if you think, I started in 2016. We didn't get in till June of 2020. How many years is that?
4 years.
So off the rip to even get here was a 4-year journey alone. And since we've been to Johnny's, it's been a little over 3 years. So yeah, it took a lot of time to get here. My thing, and for anyone watching this, that if you were to ask me some tidbits and things that I learned, is do something that you love and that you're passionate about. Don't let money, don't let clout lead you, because that'll blind you. And even when I first started coming up, a lot of people are afraid to spend money. That's as the saying goes, you got to spend money to make money. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. While I was out of my condo, I maybe had a few grand saved up to my name, maybe a few grand in merch tops. I didn't have a whole lot, right? Now we're in a spot that's got over a couple $1 million in shoes and merch. It's incredible. But then I didn't really have it, but I would bless artists, people who are already made that, they already had money. And you got to think like retail brands, like if you, let's say you print a shirt and you're in that shirt for $8 or $10 and you give it away. I mean, it's still $8 or $10 you're giving to somebody. But I was giving away Supreme shirts, stuff that I was in for $40, $50. And, I'm blessing, rappers and all these different people. But guess what, bro? It opened doors for me because like I had to do what other people didn't do.
So now that's the clip right there. You had to do what other people didn't do.
Exactly.
But I was about to go to like when you was even talking about with mob ties, because I was listening for key things. You mentioned timing, meaning that there's unique opportunities in time where something can work 10x because of how you timed it.
Exactly.
Like a certain design, a certain hot hit song, a certain event that happens in the world, like latest news, all of that has a huge factor in marketing.
Right.
It's like the same marketing campaign could do 30 million versus doing 3,000 if it's marketed at the right time and understanding timing. So all these, like me, I'm not really even big into like the news or anything, but I'm taking note of like, okay, when things are going on in society at large, think timing, like, okay, what can I do that can take advantage of the moment?
Right. It's just about being cognizant of what's going on. Even now, like I'm always looking at, it doesn't have to even be what's trending, but I mean, world news stuff that affects not only me and what I do on a business level, on a personal level, but like even being cognizant, like right now, of the economy. For us, the same prices that we were getting when people had money during COVID isn't how it is now. It's about adapting. Like back in the day, we had a fish tank over there. Well, guess what? I got tired of looking. The fishes were cool, but I got tired of looking at the fish. Guess what I put in its place? A 60 and under rack. Because when people come in, I don't want them to feel like they're forced to have to buy a $3 or $4 Chrome Heart shirt, $125 Supreme shirt. We want to open it up for that way we can be for everybody. So I feel like that's another good key word also is you got to learn to adapt. Because right now people, they're hurting, but people still have money. But what's changed is how consumers spend money. So, adapting to that change, turning up marketing, turning up visibility, like all this stuff is big key components in making a successful business. No matter if you want to sell clothes or, if you want to sell shoes or if you want to sell food, like it's just about adapting,
Right. And then going back, so when you mentioned that from 2016 to 2020, it took 4 years from the time of you, I guess, putting your sights on this location before you actually got it.
I'll be honest, I didn't even have my sights on this location until 2019 when we did the pop-up. Because between me and you, I didn't really have money to come to Johnny's and buy stuff.
Yeah, so you didn't even, it didn't cross your mind as an option.
But I will say this though, I believe this was right before the pop-up. There was another store up here. And I'm not gonna name no names, I got love for him still.
Was it the same type of store or was it different?
So, this guy, he's very nice guy, but he called me one time. He's like, "Yo, man, come by the shop one day and just come tell me what you think." Just kind of because he knew that I was starting to build up a name. He knew that I knew the hype industry. But he also knew I didn't have a store. So he actually locked in on this store before me. Well, I come in the shop, he had like used Balenciagas and like other stuff, and I'm like, "Yo, like where's like the Supreme or hype stuff?" He's like, "Oh, it's in the case back here," and I'm like, "Where?" Because I don't see it, He's like, "Oh, it's over here," and I see it, and I'm just like, in my mind, I'm thinking, why is it all the way back here? And then, like, while I'm in the shop, like, there was no motion. There wasn't anyone walking around or anything, and I'm like, "What are you doing right now?" And he's like, I'm gonna do I'm coming up with, like, a fashion show. We're gonna have, like, this fashion walk, and in my mind, I'm thinking, why would you be doing a fashion show for brands that are already popping? And the minute that they put on that Supreme shirt that you're going to take out of the plastic, that shirt's no longer brand new. So not only are you not really creating anything with what you have, but you're going to devalue some of your product, right? So in the back of my mind, so I told him, I'm like, man, the one thing you should be focusing on is having stuff in here that brings people in it and focusing on the marketing side. Well, long story short, I guess he felt he could do it his way. Well, not very much long after, he left here. And so it created a big open space again. And then once we came here and did the pop-up and I looked around and kind of like started thinking like, man, this would be kind of cool up here. You know, Johnny's a Houston institution. He gets a lot of motion here. From a business standpoint, it would make great sense. And I was blessed. He saw the vision too, and he was the first. He came up to me before I came up to him and was like, you know, because he's seen that I started having motion. Obviously, we did that event, you know, and he's seen that we could build something. And what's up, my brother? And so it just, I'm grateful for the guy. And you know, again, it's all about timing. And I'm not hating on the person that had the store before me. It's just, you know, it's one of those. I wouldn't say I told you so, but it's like I honestly tried telling him how he should have done it, but he had an answer for everything. And that's one thing I'll tell everybody, even watching this. You have to learn how to take constructive criticism and don't have an answer for everything, because even me, someone that's created a multi-million-dollar business, I don't have all the answers. Every day I'm learning. Like, look, even when you came today and you brought me the new merch, which by the way, the new merch by him is fire. You were asking me like, yo, Mike, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? I mean, you're asking me questions because at the end of the day, like you want some other feedback other than from what you think, you know? Because at the end of the day, like having feedback from other people gives you different views on things. Like, you know, and so, and again, I'm not trying to harp or bring shame to anybody, because again, I still got love for the guy. But yeah, it's crazy because like when I look at it now, I'm like, this is like what I did is kind of like what I told him he should have done. And it was like, it was ready to go. Like he had the spot before me. You had, man, it could have been something beautiful. But you know, hey, timing.
Timing, and then on top of that, being able to take advantage of opportunity that you have.
Right.
Because, like, so what's that old saying? They say luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Opportunity. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So the biggest thing is like, even if you have the space, the opportunity, if you don't have the work ethic, you don't have the idea, the creativity, the consistency, then you're not going to be able to take full advantage anyways of it.
Right. I totally agree. My thing is, you know, you want to create an exclusive experience somewhere, because at the end of the day, what I learned from even when I was selling cars, the minute someone would hit the floor, right, some people would turn their backs if they're not wearing a certain, you know, if they're not wearing, you know, like a suit or, you know,
they can afford.
I learned my lesson really, really fast in motorcycles. One of the first ups, we call them ups. When you take an up is when you greet someone at the door and you find out like what their intention is. Are they trying to buy or whatever? This husband and wife came in and they were wearing literally slides and shorts. They looked like they came from the beach. And people were laughing at them when they came in. I was like, you know what? I went and greeted them. They ended up buying 2 Ducati motorcycles valued at like $15,000 each. That sale had made me like $2,300. So what I learned from that moment, I'll never judge anybody. So like even when people came here or even when I did pop-ups, like the first thing I always tell people, man, how y'all doing? Appreciate y'all coming by. I know y'all could be anywhere else, but you're here right now and we're grateful for you. It's about giving them that experience the minute that they walked in. And I feel like I was so good at doing that with the pop-ups. Like when we got this beautiful spot, I'm like, I'm going to keep the same momentum. And it's something that I even instituted with my guys. Like the minute someone gets here, we greet them. You know, we show them love. It doesn't matter your gender, the color of your skin, none of that. We don't care. At the end of the day, they could be anywhere spending their money. But they're here. They want to give us an opportunity to earn their business. Maybe they've seen us on Instagram, you know. It's a little the weather. Rare moments at the closet. But yeah, you know, it's, you know, this business and everything that I've done, it's been a big you know, reflective moment too, you know, especially being here a little over 3 years, about to be my last year of my 30s. You know, I look back at everything that's happened, and of course 2018, 2019, I was very upset still with people, right? But I've learned to forgive and let go, and I don't wish bad upon anybody, even the people that are watching this right now. Even if you did me wrong, thank you, because you tested me and you made me have to prove myself. And I ended up being the biggest shop in Houston because of you. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
So I have a big curiosity, man, about from sales, right? So you basically, well, you're still doing it today, right? You're selling, but you're selling through marketing. So
absolutely.
Over 20 years of experience in selling, how have you gotten to the point, or have you ever gotten to the point yet where rejection no longer bothers you? Because that's the biggest like mental hurdle for most people in sales, because despite the highlights y'all see, 90, 80, however you want to say, % of the time, you're gonna be told no.
Absolutely. I mean, you won't believe how many times that door closed on me. You know, the thing is you got to understand, like, even Babe Ruth, right? He hit all them home runs, but he also had a ton of strikeouts. You know, you can't hit home runs without having the strikeouts. You know, you can't hit a grand slam on every play. So my thing is, it's life in general, whether it's in sales or whatever industry you're in, it's a numbers game. It's just about, you know, it's just about getting in front of as many people as possible and giving it your all each and every time. And at the end of the day, you do it with the intention of, hey, I'm giving it my all, whether they make the decision to buy or whatever. I'm gonna try until they buy. I'm gonna try until I die or until they buy. You know.
See, that's the thing though. That's easy to say. It's hard to do.
I agree,
that's
but
the thing. So like, it's almost like, how were you able to do it? Because like, everybody knows it's a numbers game. Everybody knows they're gonna get told no most of the time, but it's still something internal for most people where it's like
I ain't gonna lie. Even being up here, like whenever I'm giving someone that whole you know special the whole spiel, great word by the way. You know I'm Jewish, so it's a great word. That's Yiddish by the way. You know when you give the whole spiel and at the end of the day they're like you know I'm just gonna get this shirt, or you know when I get paid I'm gonna come back, my brother. Yeah, and we all in the car game we call it the B-back bus, and the B-back bus is usually only around 10% that they're actually going to come back. They're not going to come back. But at the end of the day, even if they don't come back, what you gave them in that moment will spread. It's the word of mouth factor. And I felt like that was one thing that people could respect even from what I did, is even when they came in, even if they didn't buy a $3,000, $4,000 pair of shoes or a bunch of merch or whatever, I still gave them that experience so that way they would tell other people. So you're right. I mean, it's hard to say like, oh, just keep trying, you know.
Like without losing that motivation.
But
you feel good today,
right?
Feel like trash tomorrow. Feel good again Thursday. It's like, how do you just
I'm gonna say it because people are like, a lot of people think I'm on drugs when they come in. You know, they're like, bro, what'd you do? You just snort a line before you come in? I'm like, no. Like the thing is like, I'm doing, and again, that's why I'm preaching this, man. You got to do what you love and what you're passionate about, because the minute you walk in, I leave my feelings at the door. Don't get me wrong. I have bad days. Everybody's got bad days. But my thing is when I come in here, I got to leave it at the door.
What you saying, like, that's something everybody that know me personally, I always repeat, like, you have to perform no matter how you feel. It's like
no matter how.
It's like a professional athlete. LeBron, when they get out there on the court, whether they have a good game or bad game, they don't just not show up to the game because they're upset. Because they had an argument with their girlfriend, because something happened in their family. It's like people let everything in their personal lives affect how they operate when they're going after their dreams.
Right.
But yet, as you can see with business, entrepreneurship, athletes, like those are the prime examples that no matter, and even as a regular person, when you're working at your job, and whether you're a cashier at McDonald's or whatever, you can't take your anger out on random customers. You have to be able to have a certain level of professionalism where you say, hey,
right,
even though I'm fighting with my mama, my boyfriend cheated on me earlier this morning, I'm still gonna come do my job, whatever I'm paid to do here, and I'm gonna go home. So it's like at some point, that professionalism is what you're talking about. The ability to perform under pressure or regardless of what's going on around you. Do your job or whatever you have to do in order to get the results you want long term. It's like
you're right. I mean, even when I was first selling, bro, like I said, I didn't have a lot of money when I first started. I mean, even when I left the car industry, I had a few grand saved up to my name. When I walked out of that job, I had no more for sure money. You know, like what I made was based off my performance. So, and that's one thing I'll tell people
that's the best way. I think that's the best entry to entrepreneurship is like sales, commission, and stuff like that, because it teaches you that you have to rely on work.
Absolutely.
Whether it's you or getting other people.
That's right.
It's like it's no passive income.
Right,
like,
right. And I'll say that for anybody that's just starting up, that's just coming into this. You know, you have to be prepared for that. You know, it's one of those things you can't just like throw your hands up, because when you become your own boss, you know, even now, like I'm having to learn like like at a job you get insurance, right? Well,
Yeah.
I gotta pay for
Get yourself
insurance. You know, I gotta do my taxes. I gotta make sure all my employees, my family's taken care of. You know, my bills are taken care of. You know, when you become a boss, there's so much more to that. So one thing I'll tell people is a lot of people want to become their own business owners because what they see on social media, what they see on the phone. And I'm not here to discourage anybody, but I will say this: have a structure in place. Don't just take an idea and then just, walk away from everything. Like, have a structure in place, meaning, have a little bit of capital, have a mission, start building a team. Don't just rush into something just because you want to show people I'm a business owner.
That you made it.
Right.
Right.
But just also on the flip side, even when you do get structure and get everything together, there's still going to be tons of roadblocks that get in the way. Hurdles that you have to get around, and I have had a lot of hurdles, not only from people stealing from me, but just like we were talking about, the B-back bus, and how even though I have 10 cells here, there was 15 in front of that said no to me, and I feel like when we were doing these pop-up events and doing the hustling, and even when I was doing it out of my 950 square foot condo. I literally was taking appointments on Instagram, and the only way I knew who that was coming over is I look on their Instagram page. As long as they weren't a private page and didn't look like they were going to rob me, I would let them come over. And it was a crazy. I did what I had to do, but at the same time, I felt like I was onto something, and I just stayed on it. And there was a lot of times that I wanted to give up, and I was resilient with that. Even my mom, when I first got on, she goes, "You're gonna be in your 30s and 40s selling clothes and shoes." And I said the infamous line. She always brings it up now. She goes, "And you were right, and I'm so glad you did what you did." She goes, I said, "Mom," I'll never forget this comment. I said, "Mom, if I don't do this, someone else will." And since then, you got 15, 20 stores in Houston alone. But if you can ask anybody from out of town, in town, what's the number one shop across? I mean, we got people that put us number one shop in Texas, but I'll be respectful to the fact. You can't say number one shop in Houston and not put the closet in that sentence, respectfully.
No, that.
Respectfully.
Well, I've actually, and this is just a testament to y'all. Like I said, right now we're in 11 stores now. And
which is incredible, by the way.
I appreciate that, brother. So usually, like a lot of the other store owners, like a lot of them that I speak to, I'll literally always somehow end up mentioning like the closet, and I'll let them know, like almost like kind of like when I'm watching you, just from a marketing perspective,
right?
Like how I'm like I tell them, for me, whenever I'm here just doing a restock or whatever, I'm seeing celebrities coming through. I'm seeing you got have a media team,
right,
recording you,
right.
You doing things, so it's like I'm always kind of like bragging / letting them know like, hey, the reason why the closet is moving like they moving is because you don't see the work that's going on behind it.
Right, and I appreciate that. And what's crazy, bro, is a lot of people think, oh, nah, he's just that Johnny Dangs. That's why he gets. You know what's funny? Majority, and you can test it. Most of the celebrities that come through here don't even go downstairs.
They know him.
They come straight upstairs.
Like,
I mean, like, bro, Key Glock will come here. He's not spending a dime downstairs. He's coming straight out. He spent money with Johnny before. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. But majority of even when he comes through, he's coming straight up here to come shop. Even when Big X came here, or that Mexican OT, like all these.
They literally are calling him on his phone. No exaggeration. Like I'll be talking. OT or somebody will literally call him on the phone. Hey, I'm finna pull up. We gonna be here Saturday. So, like again, it's a beautiful combination. But they are coming for him. This going back into his power of network because again,
exactly.
It's a genuine spirit too.
Right, and I feel like age has a little bit to do with it. I feel like where I'm at, even maturity level wise, when I talk to a lot of these guys, majority of them are all younger than me, So I feel like they have a respect for me, knowing that I've been through things, and seeing obviously what we put together over here, and having just a genuine respect for that. A lot of these artists that I built relationships with. I mean, these are the same artists that, were coming over to my home and smoking and shopping with me. I mean, I got videos of like me and Sauce Walker, me and Maxo Cream, me and Fugiano, Pooh Shiesty. I mean, bro, we're talking about like big dogs, and they're just in my crib, like smoking, chilling, vibing. So like, then once I brought it over here, they're just like, yo, I'm so proud of everything that you've done, bro. Like when Sauce pulled me to the side and said that to me, like it resonated so, you know, because it's like the fact that he even like noticed that, and like even Maxo was just like, bro, I'm so proud of you, and to hear it from like these you know, these kind of like gangster rappers. You know, but they got hearts too. You know, they're fathers. They're people, exactly. And you know, and I'm glad to say they're family of mine. You know, and to pull me aside and tell me these things, like, you know, Sauce puts, even when he came in Saturday, he puts his arm around me. I'm so freaking proud of you, bro. You know, and when I hear these things, it's just like, it makes my heart feel so good, because like I don't do it for the kudos. I don't do it, you know, to put myself in the light. You know, at the end of the day, the reason why I do what I do, like you said, is for the marketing aspect of things. I'm just glad to have a team that's behind me, that we can do this together, because it's not just me. The closet isn't just me. People think closet Mike Mills, like, and I appreciate that, but it's a team behind it.
The team is back there working right now.
Literally right now. I mean, like they're like wrapping shoes. I brought in a bunch of like jeans and these big bear bricks today. I mean, they do everything. Like I'm like when we did this thing, like I told them my job is gonna be the marketeer. This is what I'm great at. I you know, back, I mean, really, people are like, yo, how did you get to doing these videos and stuff? How can you talk so good on camera? And I'll show them the old videos, like me when I sell cars. Like, so for instance, let's say you came in and you bought a used 2015 BMW from me. Yeah. I'd be like, what's up, everybody? Mike over here at Expo Motor Cars. I'm out here with Mark, and he just got himself a brand new BMW. Mark, I gotta ask you, who's the best sales guy? And then I make him say Mike Mills, and then we would dab, because at that time dabbing was popular with Migos, and like literally that was kind of how things came about. And I'm just like, the projecting your voice is so important, because like, I'll be honest, like you can name 10 different stores in Houston, right? And then if I were to ask you, who's the owner of that store? Not you, but like a normal person that hasn't done business with them. Like, hey, who's the owner of this store? No one knows who owns the store, because no one wants to be in front of the camera. So that was one thing that I looked at when I got into doing this. Like, I'm not going to be him. I'm not going to just be some stationary character that just like, oh yeah, I got it, and just sit back with a bunch of chains on or a bunch of money. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to be in the mix on everything that I do. I want people to be able to relate, be able to know, like, nah, that's Mr. Closet, man. That's Mike, man. Like, I want that, and not from a clout standpoint, but just like, I love
relatability.
Exactly. I love what I do, so I want to be out here telling, like, giving people that energy, bro. Like, when people tell me, Mike, you're the mattress Mac of this industry, that's what I love to hear.
That's crazy.
That's what I love to hear. Like, that's because, like, when I watch Mattress Mac, and he's probably in his early 80s.
Yeah.
It inspires me, bro, because like in the 80s and early 90s, watching him on TV, like, this is the guy, the owner of a multi-million-dollar business, yet he's doing all of his own videos. So guess what that told me? Shit, this place ain't called Diamonds and More, it's called Johnny Dang and Co. Johnny's gonna be 50 in a week after me, or 2 weeks after me, but yet he's in every video. He's doing his marketing. He's showing up every single day. That inspires me. That goes to show me that, again, the words you use. This, if you want to get into owning your own business and think it's going to ever be passive income, stay at your job. Respectfully. Respectfully. You will never be a business owner and have passive income, because even the guys that have passive income, they say they have passive income, but they're still putting in a lot of work. These guys that own properties or own cars, you know, they're still putting a lot of time. Just so you know, no one out here is making passive income and being a business owner, because every single day there's work that you have to do. If you want to ever do something where you don't have to put in the work for someone else. But if you want to prove yourself and do something unlike anything you've ever seen before, and really, when you put your head down at night, that's one thing I can say. I can say job well done every single day when I get home.
How do you deal with anxiety? Because I know I think I don't really feel anxiety, but the closest I've felt to it is when I'm uncertain of what move I need to make next. And it's like you're feeling anxious, like, man, what did I do? It's like, I'm not getting where I want to be yet. I don't know what to do next.
I'm gonna give you the PG answer first. Now, of course, we pray, right? We pray. For me, I'm blessed to still have my mother and father here. I'm blessed to have a team here. There's people that I can talk to first that can help with that. That's like more of like the PG answer. Also on that, working out releases endorphins. I feel like that's been a very good outlet for me. I don't drink. I don't drink at all. But this is kind of a non-PG answer. I do smoke a little bit. So sometimes when I feel heavy anxiety, I may smoke a little bit, chill, and then really kind of take a step back, and also do breathing exercises too. Okay. Yeah, so another thing that works, and for some people that are watching this, try it. Breathing in slow and out slow, and doing that, counting to 10. So like 1, and do that to 10. And if you're ever in a situation where you feel fight or flight, meaning you just feel like you're just like, man, I don't know what I'm about to do, and you do that breathing exercise, first and foremost, it has worked wonders not only for me during the day, but if at nighttime it's hard for me to sleep, I'll do that as well. So I feel like talking, breathing exercises, working out, and praying on more of like the PG side. Again, this is stuff I do, but then you're like, but I you know me. I mean, I know it's one of those things, but I do smoke a little bit, and that helps too.
Let me ask this from a work perspective, because for me, praying, that's definitely one. Another thing that I found was that when I start to, it's almost like movement, similar to exercise, but mentally. Once I start just doing something, meaning like working on something. Let's say I have a lot of things, like I have anxiety, so I don't have it, but I'm just giving an example.
Right.
If I have anxiety, it's a lot of things on my mind. I don't know what to do next. It's like, oh, that's one of the things in entrepreneurship, is that you have a million things you could do, but you never know what the best thing is to do.
Right.
So it's always that feeling of like, man, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. So what I found with me is that being productive, or just taking a task and focusing on it for that hour or two, my anxiety tends to leave mentally, because it's almost like I create clarity for myself in that short moment. Like, oh, I need to send out these emails. So therefore, it's like the anxiousness disappears because I'm focused only on doing these emails. Once that's over, unless it's just break time, then I'll be like, okay, what should I do next? And it's like it starts over. Yeah, it's like it starts over here and there, where it's like points of time, like almost like writing a schedule throughout the day, where it's like, okay, I made my game plan for the day, my to-do list. I have these set things. As I'm doing those, I don't really experience anxiety. But once I'm out of my to-do list, and now because I'm so in it, where it's like I'm always thinking like, what should I be doing? Like I'm the type, brother, I feel guilty when I'm watching TV now.
I agree. Now you got to have time to also unwind, but I'll say this, kind of going with what you're saying. The saying that I use: action breeds action. So a lot of times when you're honing in on your craft, what's the other saying? Idle hands are a devil's workshop.
An idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Yeah, idle mind is a devil's workshop. So and it can be the way: idle hands, idle mind. But when you're doing something, and then you're putting time and effort to, I feel like that also kind of, like you said, takes the edge off, because like when you're putting work in from point A, you put in the work and you see the finished product point B, or even if you don't get to see it immediately, it's point A to point B, but then
you're working
towards to get from point A to point B to point C, right? So, but it's about still staying focused and putting that work, because that also takes your mind off, So, and I'll be honest, even where I'm at now, it's a constant battle, because now being at a higher level, now I have to worry about content schedule, making sure we have what we need inside here, making sure that my family, my team is happy, making sure things are good at home, making sure my mom and dad's health is good. Like my sister's got 2 nieces, man, I want to be a good uncle and I want to make sure I see them. And then
you don't have kids yourself yet, right?
I don't, man. It's one of those things. Everybody asks, when is little Mikey gonna come around? Like I tell everybody, right now my baby is still my business. I still feel like we're at a fork in the road where I could get complacent, and this thing will still do what it does. It's still gonna be a beast, or I can take it the other route.
Keep your foot on the gas.
And then, cause I ain't gonna lie, like location number 2 is coming. And they're gonna be mad when they see where this one comes. but location 2 is coming. We're looking at a few different locations right now. But it's about building this brand into something bigger than what I know where it is right now, and part of the reason why we decided to do the podcast. Part of the reason why I brought on a whole entire production team to do content. But then a lot of people don't know a lot of the content I do myself. I'm always editing stuff, adding the captions, and doing this and doing that. You know what it takes. You do it yourself, and so yeah, this thing where I'm at now. I'm grateful for even moments like this. Again, even talking to you right now puts things in big reflection mode. And I'm grateful for everything that I've gone through, and I'm grateful for meeting even people like you in this industry, you're a unicorn out here too, my brother, and I'll say this, watching your hard work, watching you getting into other stores and seeing that you keep them, keeping it going, knowing you got your own things that you got to handle, and knowing that you're really doing this with a really, a real slim team. You don't really have a massive team behind you doing this.
Not yet, man. Like I said, I'm trying to build that consistency. I'm trying to build a foundation to the point where, because I look at it like this, when building a team, I don't want people to just help me. I want them to be able to benefit a lot from it as well. So right now, like, it's certain pockets where I'm able to get like salespeople, team members to help, but a lot of it, for me personally, I haven't yet figured out how to make it valuable. Because like, anybody that's working with me, I want them to not only make money with me, but I want them to be getting benefits that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise working somewhere else. Right. And I can respect that. Do that. That's why I'm not just asking everybody. I'm like, hey, let me wait until I can get this going like I needed to, get distribution, set up openings and opportunities to where now when I bring people in, not only are they making money, but they're learning valuable skills that will help them, whether they move on to something else in the future or if they just want to keep helping the brand level up and grow together.
I like that.
That's the biggest goal, brother. Let me ask you one last question.
Yeah.
But I'm just a busy man.
Yeah, it's okay. I've X'd a lot of calls out. Sorry, by the way.
Man. Y'all can blame me.
It's okay.
Who do you hope to inspire? Not saying that you're trying to be an inspiration, but
I am though. It's a great question. It's a great question. So one of the things that I've been doing, I would say the last 10 months, is I've been going to schools and speaking to schools, and high school students, middle school students, elementary. Like, my thing is this, is like, again, and I think it's also with age, is what I notice now is the younger generation is one day going to take care of me, right? So I feel like this younger generation is so impressionable, right? Especially having social media, having all this stuff going on, especially with just in the world, right? My thing now is like, when I first started in this business, it was all about being cool, and it was on some like me versus the world, F everybody else. But that's not the right mentality to have. Now it's about soaring with the eagles. It's about bringing people up. It's about promoting positivity. Like, even now, like when I talked about my stuff that happened in the past, I'm not mad at these people anymore. I've let it go, because I want to be a different person. I can't be that person if I'm still harboring these ill will towards these people, even if they screwed me over or not. It's okay. Like, hey, you know what? I learned from it, So I'll say that now my main thing now, and that's why we did the podcast, why I like doing a lot of the videos, and why I like doing interviews like this. It's now about helping others. Like, hey, because at the end of the day, I'm a 2-time convicted felon. All right?
Oh, really?
2-time convicted felon. A lot of doors that are open for you or for anyone else are closed on me. I had to go and bust my own doors in, man. I was in prison for 15 months, TDC, not county jail. I was in prison. What you see in the Shawshank Redemption, razor wire, people yelling at you, people trying to get me to be in part of prison gangs and stuff. I had to do all that, bro. But I came out a changed man, and it like from that.
How old were you doing that?
So I was 19 when I got initially arrested. I was 26 when I went into prison, and I came out in 2010, and I had to hit the ground running and really change up, because the statistics are against you when you come out. Because I was in a group of 20 guys, and this lady said in prison, she goes, just so you know, in this group of 20 guys, y'all look around right now, only 2 of y'all won't come back to prison. I said,
And she part of that too.
I'm not gonna come back to here. So, you know, I had to do something to change my life, and now I want to do something that helps change other people's lives. So I like giving inspiration. I like giving words of wisdom. I'll answer DMs. People come up and ask me questions. I mean, you've asked me questions. Other business owners will come up and be like, "Yo, like Mike, I got something I want to ask you." And I'm telling everybody, even on here, man, if you ever have a question or if you want to come by here and just ask me something or some advice, or you're going through something, my door's open for anybody. And like now, where I'm at now, like I feel like that's something that I don't necessarily have to do, but something that I want to do. And then I felt like at the end of the day, one thing I pray to God about is use me as you see fit. I pray every day that use me as you see fit, work through me. You know, like I don't want to just be a platform for famous celebrities and rappers, right? I also want to be a platform to help people out. You know, I want to be also a platform to be like, yo, this guy really came from nothing. Like people look at me just because I'm white, like, oh no, he came from a privileged upbringing. He's been had money. He's been like, yeah, my parents were middle class.
Yeah.
You know, I had what I wanted growing up. Like I didn't have nothing crazy, but yeah, I mean, I had a nice. But I mean, when I came out of prison, I had nothing to my name.
To be fair, man, majority of people, like, and this is going from what I know, majority of people come from okay backgrounds. Like, if half of y'all mamas heard about how hard y'all childhood was, they would slap y'all.
Right.
Because there's so many, like rappers made it famous. Rappers made it famous where you talk about how bad your childhood was and act like you ate dirt and, you know, drunk piss as a kid and all that. Like, bro, half y'all grandmamas turning in their graves listening to y'all talk about how bad y'all childhood was. Because people do that, and what I've learned is that people do that because the average person's life, day-to-day life, there's nothing cool about it.
Right.
There's nothing heroic about it. The closest that most people can feel like they've accomplished something is to act as though their starting point was so far back than everybody else's. Like the victim mentality.
Right.
So if I can act like I'm the biggest victim ever, people will congratulate me for being average because I've came a long way. That's the real mindset. So when people play that where you came from background, like, oh, you guys had electricity in your house. You guys had, like, yeah, that's great. Majority of people did.
Yeah.
You guys, if you let their mama tell them, you'll hear the truth. So anybody that you know that talk about how tough their childhood, ask their mama and watch how quiet they are.
Yeah, right.
Because their mama's gonna be like, boy, I worked 3 jobs to put your narrow black ass in school. And you sitting there talking about you didn't have no food, you didn't have it.
Yeah.
So it's like people just, like, it's all just talk, man.
The rags to riches story. You know, people like to, you know.
They want that story, even though 90% of people don't have that story. But everybody act like it so that way they can feel good about being average.
That's right.
Like just doing a regular job, they want to feel like they've accomplished something. So the further back they can act like they started, the more people can congratulate them for not really doing much.
That's right.
And that's people's biggest game. So like when you said that, it just made me think about it. I was like,
it's true. It's true though. It's true.
But yeah, man, I would appreciate you for giving us the opportunity to interview the owner of the closet. Let's do that again. You gotta get that pop.
Oh yeah, pop. Yeah, there we go.
Make sure y'all come to the closet, tap in. This man has big name after big name, but more importantly, when you come in, he gonna make you feel like you home, like you a guest, and like more importantly, like you family. So it don't matter who you are, what you look like. The closet got something for you, and it's gonna be a place you're gonna keep coming to for years to come.
It's it's just different at that one-stop shop. Come get the experience. And like I said, guys, if y'all ever have a question, need somebody to talk to, I am here for the community. Love y'all guys.
Peace out. Remember, Desire family, once you get that desire to achieve, you gotta get that energy. Let's get it.